Yo, what up, everybody? You already know Sly Loco here with another episode of CannaConvos. And today is a special one. We got Vixn Flowers here. Bam, 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 bam. She is
It's
the
a bam
other
bam, yeah.
half. She is the other half of the Growmie Talk podcast. She is also an organizer, a Growmie, just a badass person all around. So let's give it
Oh,
up for her
thank
today.
you.
Bam, 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 bam. How's your day going?
Oh, it's been a
Real quick.
weekend. Let me
Yes,
tell you.
real crazy. You're telling me about that little craziness that
Snafu
happened
Friday
on.
night, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah, a kerfuffle is what some people would
Right?
call it. So,
Kicked
but
my weekend off real interesting. So yeah.
yeah, that's always good. At least you're not bored. At least you got a lot of crazy stuff
Right?
going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I live. My life is always so crazy to where there's no time to just sit around
Oh,
and be bored. So I like it like that. But
yeah.
for everybody out there, she is on Instagram as Vixn Flower. You can go see her on YouTube as, like I said, the other half of the Growmie Talk podcast. She is the new co-host. They're with Green Year 420. They have been doing their thing out there for. You've only been on for about 6 months, right? Or has it been about a year?
Since last fall.
Since
Yeah.
last fall, so it's already been a year. Wow, man, time flies when you guys are having fun, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into the interview like I always start with everybody. How did you come up with your name?
So that's kind of a awkward story. So back in let's see, it would have been January of 23, I started Vixn Creative, which
Okay.
is actually my little design company. That's my little sign behind me.
Ooh,
It's from my old office. Yeah. We moved not that long ago here. But
okay.
anywho, I've been doing graphic design work since 19. Oh goodness, we're gonna date me here since
Hey, 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 don't even worry about any of that. It's a
93.
it's all good. Don't even worry about it. Like hey, we'll just put it like this. You're vetted. You're very vetted in this.
Yeah, for
So
sure. You got any questions? I'm your girl. I mean, I've
yeah.
probably worked with about every program under the sun. So I
Nah,
used to, in high school, I competed nationally in graphic design. I've been an airbrush artist since I was 16 years old.
really.
So yeah, I've painted everything from $500,000 power boats to haunted houses to you name it. When I was 16, I painted a Greyhound bus. I did like the entire airbrush, the entire outside of it for kind of a local cat back home. So
Damn, how long
I
did
was at
that take?
16. Yeah.
Did that
Off and on combined, I was doing it like after school and on the weekends. It took me a few days to do. But now I
really
did
great.
14. If you Google Iron Man, it's an Iron Man boat. It's a Hustler 388 cat. There was only like 10 of them made. It was a 42-foot boat and it had like a 14-foot beam. And that one was actually themed after Iron Man, the character,
Yeah.
the comic book character. That boat, it was already painted red with a gold stripe at the bottom, but like all the airbrush graphics to make the whole boat look like it was made out of his costume or his character or his body.
Yeah.
That took me, it was 50, what was that, 53 hours, I think, in 3 days that I painted that.
Damn.
I was under the
Damn.
gun. So, yeah. That was round one. I came back down, did a little bit of like tiny work on the inside of it and the engine covers and stuff like that. But so yeah,
Nice. So so
that's
what I'm gonna
where.
do is I'm gonna go on here and I'm gonna try to find that and put up a picture up here for
Oh yeah,
everybody so that they can see
there's
your
pages of
work.
it if you find it. Yeah,
Nice. Hell yeah, man. That's cool. I love artistry is something that I just wanted to do so bad. And I'm just
yeah,
not an artist. I can't paint. I can paint now. Like I practice. Now I understood because my kid is an artist and she
hmm
was telling me that it's just practice. You just gotta keep
yeah,
practicing like with
literally.
everything. Right. And so
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay, okay. So I started putting it together to now I got a steady hand to where I can do a little bit better but
hmm
nowhere the creativity to where like painters, if you're using an airbrush, that's pretty
Yeah.
precise, and work that you have to do. So congrats to you, man. That's hella
Thank
cool. I wish I
you.
could do that.
So
You said
that's
you
where Vixn came from, but yeah, and like Vixn actually, it's named after like the fox. Like I don't know if you can tell, there's a little fox logo built into my Vixn.
okay.
That's what
Yeah.
that originally came from. I'd send you to my Instagram page, but IG killed all my accounts except for Vixn Flower. And yeah, like literally, I had five. They dated back to 2013. And I don't know if it got reported or what. I mean, I hardly ever posted on them except artwork and updates. So it's pretty tacky. But yeah, they
Really?
literally killed my account. That had probably 2 decades worth of artwork on there. So I could have sent you to that and you could have seen it all, but let's say la vie. But
So
that's where, so
did
facts,
you back up any of that, or did you back it up
I
anywhere?
did. I've got like random pictures of it. It's just a matter of finding it all to put it back on there. You know what I mean? I didn't back it up as a whole. I have the photos and whatnot. It's a lot of work to put
I suggest you to, like, if you wanted to, you
all
should
that.
try like uploading it to YouTube or something, like another
Yeah.
platform that would be around a lot longer, that doesn't usually take down pages like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you never know in this community, or like the way that things are going right now. You got the little haters that like the
For
tag, they
sure.
like to flag you and fuck with your
Yeah.
page, and like even like, so you've had 6 pages, right? 5 pages that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anytime that you make a new page, it's gonna come up, boom, and it'll say, "Hey, this person has made all these other pages. Watch out!"
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Which kind of makes you sound like a scammer, right? But you're not.
Yeah.
You're just been getting fucked with so many times that you're coming over having to make a new page, new page, new
Yeah.
page. So anybody out there, be careful for that. Some of those pages are scammers, but some of them are just people who are in this community that just keep getting messed with by Instagram.
Yep.
El Connoisseur is one. He just said that he's about to quit and go to X because he's done with Instagram messing with them. And
Yeah.
we find, like, through the community, from what I've seen, we know exactly one person who it is, right? Who it could be. And it's just like, I hate it when one bad apple messes it up for everybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
and not even a bad apple. Maybe he might be having a bad day, or it might be, just that's the way the person is, and nobody's ever told him, "Yo, man, stop that shit, dog." Like,
Right.
fucking, but it happens out there, and just wanted
I
to
don't think
bring
people
that.
think about the repercussions of what they're really doing. Like, okay, so you got offended over a statement, or you got irritated because somebody didn't include you in something, or because they're rising and you're struggling, and who know? Okay, to each their own. You never know what's going on in somebody else's backyard or what they're going through. So don't judge them. Don't look at their upcoming as your shortcoming. We each have our own when it comes to that. But when you
That.
report somebody's account and then their account gets taken down, that's hours and hours of work, that goes into that and monitoring it. And it could have been, like I said, one of mine was from 2013. I had some priceless photos on there that, being stupid, I didn't back it up because it wasn't a Canna account. It was a personal account. I had 2 art pages, my business page, and then just a backup page. And they all got killed all in the same time.
Damn, man, they went
So,
off. And yeah, they don't realize that there's these little memories that just are gone. You're never gonna get them back again. And I know that's why I started posting like all my stuff on the Instagram, and it wasn't for everybody. It was just for me to be able to
right.
remember, like, something for
Yes.
me to be able to remember. But then now that this kind of shit happens, like, that page could be gone and all those memories are gonna be gone. So
Yeah.
that's a little word to the wise, everybody out there. Try to back it up if you can. Back up your pictures and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, because you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, how long have you been growing? Now I look back in your page, and you've only been growing for a little bit, right? You're a new grower.
About a year and a half. Yeah.
Year and
So
a
I
half,
started
right?
would have been last summer.
Okay.
No, not last summer, the summer before. It was 23 I started growing.
Did you grow
So
indoors
about a
or
year.
outdoors?
Indoor. Only indoor.
Indoor. Okay. So do you have you got a tent, a closet?
Yep. So I've got a couple of tents. I'm actually getting
Okay.
ready to set up an entire new one again. You get the bug.
Yeah. Yes, I
But
know.
yeah, so you're like, it's time to upgrade. I got to do this and do that. So I probably will. I was thinking about it so I could do some autos real quick before everybody gets here. But I
Okay.
got a 4x4 and then I have a 2x3. And my 2x3 is kind of interesting. It's a converted tent, but
What does that
so what
mean?
I did, it's actually an animal cage, right? But it's like 5 foot tall and it's 3 foot wide and it's 2 feet deep. But it has these shelves that you can put at like different heights, right? And it's got
Okay.
like that, so you rotate them up and down. It's actually like it's intended for like cats or ferrets and whatnot. But it worked so good because what I did was I got a main at what is it? I can't even say the name of the company now. Anywho, I got one of their lights. It's a 3x3 on one side of it, and then I got the AC Infinity Mars Hydro. And then I got
Okay.
the AC Infinity bar lights on the other one. But what I did was I put on the top one, I got a little bit taller. So I put 2 of the bar lights above that. Then on the bottom under that shelf, I have just one bar light. And then I strung it down. I brought the other 2 over and I have them in the corners. So it works as like a seedling and veg and auto tent, the whole thing, because it's got multiple layers built in. Like some people put shelving in it. This has built-in shelving that I can adjust. So it's actually really nice.
So cool, man. Smart too, innovative. Like you're putting all those lights in there so where you can do everything
I can
except
control
flower.
them, turn them up and down, the levels, the dimming switches, the vibrancy of it, depending on what I want to do. And so I can turn the little babies way down. I could do clones on the bottom and have almost no light for a while. Yeah, it's actually pretty wild.
So
And I
nice,
just bought
man.
a tent cover for it, like an outdoor proof one. So it's the exact same as a regular tent cover.
Wow. That
So it
sounds so
works.
cool. And you're starting to put the lights on the bottom, right? So you're basically doing what
Yeah,
everybody's doing, and they're moving into putting like light bars on the
the
bottom.
under
So the
canopy ones.
canopy, yeah, the
Mhm.
under canopy ones.
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't done that yet, and I know like the technology behind it, the thought, the theory behind it, and it works. Like, hello,
Mhm.
more light would make those little popcorn nugs get a lot bigger. My issue is you shouldn't have popcorn nugs to begin with. No, you should strip that shit off. Have only
That is
fucking
true. That is true.
yeah, because there's the new grower Maz, or I mean, Mr. Broccoli over there. I was teaching him how to strip off all the popcorn nugs, right? So that he
Yep.
only has all this energy going to the top nugs. And his
Right.
plant looks absolutely beautiful. I was like looking at him like, damn, that looks nice, man. A little bit of guidance. That's all it took with that young man. There's a little bit of guidance, and he is killing it. Absolutely killing it. Good job. I wanted to ask you about that tent. Is that like mylar that you're just putting under it, over it?
Yeah, so it's I forget the name of it. It's like a heavier canvas and it's just kind of like lightly reflective on the inside. It's really just to serve as it's identical to the other tents. So the same material. It's like a heavier canvas with a reflective material inside. And it just zips up and down on both sides of it. What it's designed is that like you were to take your parrots or something outside. It's like one of those great big huge bird tents, like so you take them outside and if you want to protect it from the wind or just cover it when they're not in it, it does the same thing. So
Mhm.
it almost completely blocks the light. So I do, if I have something that's light, since I don't put anything in flower in there except autos. So I never
Okay.
really have to worry about it, being completely like pinhole light shining through or anything like that, because there's never anything in flower in it other than autos, which wouldn't be affected by it.
Nice, nice. That's good. Yeah. When it comes to little pinholes, I'm not even too sure if that really matters too much. A lot of people, there's a lot of controversy behind that say that that
Mm-hmm.
does matter. Like a pinhole will mess up, make your plants herm or whatever. And I've had pinholes in my tents, and I haven't gotten any herms. Well, I got herms one time, but that was something different.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we all do it once in a while.
yeah, that's the one thing about that happened when I was stressing that plant out way too fucking much, and that was in my earlier years, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So now, how do you
I'm
grow
there.
in? Do you grow in soil, or
Yeah,
have you
I'm
tried
living
growing in
soil.
RWC soil? Okay, all right,
So I've only been living soil since I started, and I've been
okay,
totally happy with it. So I haven't really tried anything else. I did start with like my first couple of weeks, I had some Fox Farm nutrients, and then I realized that they weren't really organic, and that it wasn't, and they were still salt based and whatnot. So I switched out pretty early in the game, and I went to just all amendments. Heavy with worm castings, and obviously recharge is like my favorite amendment on the planet is probably recharge, and then
okay.
I use
Stash
drops of
blend is
balance.
stash blend is a quick number two. Aging out.
Is it okay? I haven't used it yet. I'm open. I'm
Okay,
open to it. But
okay.
so
Stash
yeah.
blend is like one of the ones that's the one that I stand by because pigeons and everybody that I know. But it is like recharge. Everybody's talking. If you could either do recharge or you could do stash blend. And I'm like,
Mhm.
man, I'm going with the boys, man, fucking all the way. But I've heard recharge does work, and there is a lot of people who use that. Now, for those who don't know, recharge is a how would you explain it? An additive, right? It's not of your base nutrients. Now you have your base nutrients, which is your main nitrogen, your NPK ratio, you got your three numbers, which are base one, right? For me, I'm using Gaia Green's nutrients, organic nutrients, and that is the 444, all purpose. Now, I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, shit. The nutrients. Recharge. Okay, so you would feed your base nutrients, and then you would give recharge or stash blend or something like that. That would help with your humic acids, all your side macro nutrients that you need to help your plant just flourish, guys. It works so much, man. Try it out. How long have you been ingesting cannabis? Has it been a while?
So
I know that's
I'm
gonna
like
do
such a
that.
lightweight. It's
That.
crazy.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if we really want to like roll back to when we all probably started, which was high school.
Yep.
Okay, then stop for a little while there. Fast forward until literally been about 5 years ago. It had been pretty close to, let's see, 21. So yeah, we're coming up on 5 years. I just like some gummies because I was just like, yeah, let me see once. I haven't done this in years. So I hadn't smoked. I had just gummies for like about a year or so.
Okay.
And then I actually got flower. Oh my goodness. So my first pipe was a steamroller. I wasn't ready for that.
No, those are
My
openers.
first one, right?
Definitely got to be
So
ready for that.
I
For those who don't know what a steamroller is, I'll try to put a picture in here, but it's basically it's like a big tube. You got a pipe in there, and the carb is at the end of the tube, and it just fucking just steamrolls. Is that what you're talking about? Am I got the right one?
It fills the chamber up,
Yeah,
the whole so you'll plug the
yeah.
end of it and you'll inhale, and then it fills the chamber up with smoke. So it's like a second hit ready to go. And then after the first one, you just release your finger and then you pull it in. Yeah. So I took like one. I was like, oh, this is nice. Okay, this is cool. Oh, I like this. It's like a little Bob Marley one or one of the Marley's Naturals one. It was all pretty in dark stained glass, and I'm like, oh, this. I went and took a big ass hit off the second one, not knowing, and I was all innocent. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit. So then I'd take a breather for a second there. I was coughing my lungs out, thought I might die, a little mini anxiety attack. And then by the time I like chilled for a second, I was like, oh dear, I'm so lit. So
So
then I
blazed.
literally, I was just sitting there for a good hour on the end of my bed, like, I can't even go anywhere. I can't move. I can't do nothing. It was that. I was locked. I
I
was just
love
like,
those.
I wasn't even in a place to like lay down, to like just go rest and chill or nothing. I was just like, I'm gonna just sit here.
Yeah.
I was in my thoughts in my world, and
I love
like,
that kind of high, man. I miss that shit. I haven't been. Well, actually, I got that high a couple days ago. Actually, yesterday. I went
oh
by.
wow.
Yeah, I went by a joint. Bought a joint in a dispensary here in Spokane, and not here in Spokane. I'm not in Spokane anymore, but over there when I was in Spokane, and I was like, all right, I'm going to use my medical card, and I'm going to get one of these, the most expensive joints that has all the shit in it. And yeah, sure enough, it got me stupid blazed. I was sitting
Wow.
back, but I was like, just like you said, I was sitting there just duh. Thinking about crazy shit. It's like, oh man, I haven't been this high in forever. I love it though.
Right?
I love it. So especially when it's one of those smoking highs like that, because you can get high
Mm-hmm.
like that off of edibles easy, But
Yeah.
edibles have a tendency to switch up on you if you get too high. If you eat, you
Oh
forget
my goodness. Yeah.
like you forget that you ate one edible and you eat another one, and then it kicks in, it fucking kicks your ass. Yeah, those you gotta
Oh
be
yeah.
careful
Or
with it.
try. I just did that. I was at a Mind Fuel event and one of the
Oh,
places down here. And I went
okay.
to their 420 birthday bash and they gave me some gummies. And it was like a few nights later, I decided to try one, right? And I was like, they were 30 milligrams. So I was like, I'm going to just try half of one. And it was like before, hour or two before bed. It hadn't kicked in and I just fell asleep. I woke up the next morning. I was like lit. I was like, oh, dang, I'm going to have to call into work. I don't think I could go to work
Damn.
because it kicked in while I was like asleep, like long time later. I was like, I don't think I should even drive like this. But by the time I
Damn.
got showered and dressed and ready, it was like an hour and a half went by. I was like, okay, it's wearing off. I'm fine now. But yeah, there was a minute there. I was like, I think I'm gonna have to call into work over a gummy.
I know when I first started getting into the gummies, because like for a long time, edibles didn't do anything to me, so I didn't eat them. But then when I got into them and
Yeah.
I found the gummies that I really like holy shit, there was the day that I got these OG Chem, or I mean OG Splifferson. Sorry, shout out to the homie. His gummies had me straight the fuck up green over. The next day I was hungover off of weed, so we call that a green over, and I was
Yeah.
just like Blaze still, man. That shit was wild. Like, I can't believe that shit. So I had a question about you being a food blogger. You were a food blogger back in the day, or like not back in the day, but a couple years ago?
Food blogger. That page was just kind of so I was like keto years ago, and a friend of mine
Okay.
was kind of to support her because she was newly diagnosed at the time with MS and or trying to get her
Oh,
diagnosis. And so we were both keto, and so it was kind of just we were going back and forth. So I posted a lot of stuff, but there's like a little mini community within that, of people that follow you. I mean, there's like a couple thousand people that were following me, and it was just, they would be like, can you get your recipe or whatnot, and a lot of it was just I was having fun within, because from keto I went to vegetarian, and
okay.
then I was keto vegetarian. That's a difficult, that your options get like real narrowed down real fast. And
Yeah.
then I did plant-based for about like 6 weeks too, so I had no
Oh,
intention of actually becoming vegetarian. It was kind of weird how it happened. My dad, he was going through some health struggles for about 18 months before he passed away. And then he died, let's see, January of 21. And,
rest in
or
peace.
no, excuse me, 20, because it was when COVID first started. So anywho, his was like the last funeral in our area that was a normal visitation and everything, and like family service afterwards. So it was about a week after his funeral, and I was just exhausted. I was like mentally drained. I was still driving back and forth from Missouri to Iowa every single weekend. I did that for 3 years. That's a 12-hour round trip. And
Damn.
I did not miss a single weekend home for 3 years. So I drove 55 to 60,000 miles a year doing that. And yeah, it was a lot of driving. But
Yeah.
so anywho, when he passed away, I was there. I was drained. I was like, I couldn't almost function. I had to drive back to the lake again. And when I got down here, I literally, all I craved was vegetables, like fresh produce. And I was so burned out from, you're not at home for a week. You're going through all the stress of, he finally passed away and everything. I was a daddy's girl too. So it was really hard for me. I was working 6 hours a week. I mean, 6 hours away every week and then coming home on the weekends. So I was always kind of faced with the fact that if he dies, I'm not going to be there, that type of thing. And he was always my biggest supporter too, as far as like my cheerleader in life
Mhm.
and coaxing me
Yeah.
on, and especially in the art realm. And then so all of a sudden I was just like, the thought of meat for some reason just made me ill. Like it was such a turnoff. And I went from being full on keto like a week before. I was at an all you can eat prime rib dinner, so it was like I went from steaks and prime rib and to straight on vegetarian, and
Like
two
that?
days turned into a week.
Was that like a culture shock? I mean, was it a shock at first? I mean, because if you
um
just jump from keto from having meat to no meat, like
Yeah,
that
it
could
was. But luckily, I've always loved vegetables, so there's only a couple that I don't care for. Luckily, so I had plenty of options at least, and then I had to like learn to find replacements. And so I will tell you about the only thing that really don't work is the fish that you like. There's no way to really make a decent fish, and I used to like fish, but I had to give that up. And then this is gonna sound a little odd, but like liver and onions, they're like if you're old school into that type of, there was like no way to make that as a vegetarian either. Like
no,
vegan.
I remember hearing about it, and like there'd be the cartoon Doug where they would talk about liver and onions, and so I always stayed away from it. But I've heard of it.
That's why I said I don't know, like it's one of them things. Some people are like, ugh, and other people are like, where you get that at?
It's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Well, that's an interesting story. Are
Yeah.
you still a vegetarian right now?
So I'm not for about the past It's been what, a year? I was a vegetarian for 2 years and 8 months. And then
Okay.
my daughter, my second one, or oldest, down here at that, she lives at the lake with me, and she was going through a breakup with a fiance, and she moved in, and but she wasn't vegetarian, so she was struggling with my diet options like hardcore. So, and she was just, you know how it is when you break up with a fiance. She was sad and depressed, and so I was making her
And
favorite
food.
meals. Next
Yeah,
thing you
food is a big
know, I
comfort
had
for
some.
people. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, here I made my homemade chili. Then I made her liver and onions is like her favorite. Literally, like all my kids love it. My sister, she used to love it. My mom still makes it to this day. That
Everybody
was the
loves
thing
this
that
shit.
broke my vegetarianism because I made it for her, and I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and try it. That was it. That was what kicked it off. So it took me probably about 3-4 months to get back into eating meat again. So.
Was it easy or was it hard to do that? I mean, like, because once you start tasting meat again, and you're like, your body knows it's meat and is like
Yeah.
loving it. Like, did you indulge like a bunch? Did you just eat a little bit?
Not really. I just kind of gradually went into it with
Huh.
eating. So yeah, but I was like real clean vegetarian. I didn't do a whole lot of the processed meats and the fake meats and stuff like that. I was
Okay,
more
none of
like
the
mushrooms and things like that.
not like the Impossible Burgers or some shit like that.
Yeah, I would do it here and there, but that stuff would like mess you up. That's your body knows it's not the real thing and
So
is not happy.
yeah, I know. I was looking back in your page and I saw something about telepathic communication through plants.
Hmm.
Now, what was your theory on that, or what were you talking about?
As far as, well, if you take it from, we know with mycelium that's how
Oh
they
yeah,
communicate, and we know trees communicate with each other.
yeah,
So, and a lot of people, they feel like a certain vibe when they go in. Like I've heard people say, if I'm feeling a certain way, I won't even go into my tent. Like I'm in a crappy mood, I won't even go in there because I don't want to bring that energy into my tent. So,
really?
yes, I personally feel that that energy is exchanged. I know when I come home or when in the going in the morning, and because my one tent, my timer was getting a little funky and it didn't work one day, and I came home and all my lights had been on for almost 2 days. I was like, gosh dang it. So yeah, they got a little boost.
A little
They
bit.
survived it, fortunately, but because it wasn't like cranked up, I was like, oh yeah, sorry guys. So anyhow, I would just go in the morning and just turn my lights on, and then at night I'll just shut them off. But and that's just the one small tent. But anywho, when I go, I'll be like, "Hey, babies, good morning," and I turn the light on. And it's just like I imagine them being like, "Hey, mom," just like your
Yeah.
cats or your puppy dogs or anything.
Yeah, they are too, because I could feel like for a while there, I was going through a little depression and all this stuff. So I wouldn't go into my tent as much. And I
Hmm.
wasn't in like, because this used to be my safe spot, my happy spot is where I would be
Hmm.
going and shit. And so, but then after, doing it for so long and I just made it too big and I just stopped having so much fun with it, because that's one thing that I tell everybody out there is if you're growing out here, have fun with this stuff, all right? You don't want it to
Hmm.
turn into a chore. You want to have this
Right.
still be your happy place, right? And so lately I've been going in back and like I'll have a shitty mood, but when I go in there,
Hmm.
when I'm with my plants, I'm playing music and I'm just chilling, my mood changes and I start
Yeah.
to start to feel better. And so I'm starting to see also with the light, like for people who have sad seasonal depression, if you
Hmm.
go into your grow tent, you got this full spectrum light, and that's basically a sun right there. So when you go
Right.
in there in the
Exactly.
morning, you're getting the sun early in the morning, like your body wants,
Hmm.
and so it helps with your endorphins. It helps with all that stuff. So that's one thing that like I feel that you do want to, even if you're feeling a little, then not the energy where you want it to be. I think you should go into there because it'll help you. I think the plants will help you snap
Hmm.
out of that shit, and then you can go by your day because they're soaking up better. They like how they soak up CO2, right? And they
Hmm. Yep.
expel oxygen. I think they do that with energy too. I think that they could soak up a little bit of good bad energy, and give you good
Yep.
energy out. So I encourage it. But I totally understand. And as a matter of fact, I was just watching a YouTube thing on how the trees, the redwoods, how they're talking to each other through,
Yeah. Absolutely.
like, if one redwood is low on nutrients and water, the other ones will send nutrients and water over to them. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
through the mycelium network. It is absolutely amazing, guys. Plants are
Right.
fascinating. These things, these plants, and they've been here billions of years, way longer than
Mm-hmm.
we have. So, and they're
Right.
stationary, so they have to learn how to communicate. Oh, and there was another thing on that documentary where they were talking about how the plant, if there's a caterpillar or something that's eating the foliage, that they
Mm-hmm.
will the plant will send out pheromones that smell like the it'll attract
Predator.
the
Mm-hmm.
the predator, the parasitic wasp. Yeah, the
Yep.
predator to come and eat to do the dirty work for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that is so fucking crazy, so cool. I love it. I love
Right.
it. Absolutely love it, man. Plants. You guys need to go up there and do some more research. I'll be putting on some articles here too that will explain how that works and just like some
Nice.
examples. It's just so cool. When did you fall in love with plants?
Oh my goodness. As far back as I can remember, literally my grandmother, when I was growing up, she lived in a really small town. Like they didn't even have a grocery store, but it was only
Okay.
like 10 minutes outside of Waterloo, right? But it's just farm community out there. And so she always had, to me, when I was little, it felt like the biggest garden in the world. You know, growing up now, I've drove past that house. I was like, okay, it's about as big as our garage. But when I was little, it just seemed like it went on for miles. And I
Really?
mean, I remember going out there in the morning, every single morning, we'd water all the vegetables. We'd be pulling snap green beans off the vine and just eating them, you know. And I remember canning and freezing corn and green beans and her tomato sauces and tomato soup and all that, and just canned tomatoes, vegetable soups, you name it, canned beets, everything. We like made it, we did it all from scratch. So that's one of
Nice.
my first love of plants. And so I kind of bring that with me. When I moved down here, well, if I back up, my house back up in Iowa, I did the Victory Gardens, which is the gardens in the front yard. So that was back, if you go, I forget which World War it was. I'd have to look that up, where the term Victory Gardens comes from. But anywho, it was using every available space for growing produce. And
Okay.
so I actually got these railroad ties, and I had a guy bring by, what was it, a ton and a half of soil, and he dumped it in my front yard. And I made these giant, three great big gardens out of it. They were all blocked off with railroad ties. And then he was cleaning out the bottom of his pond. So I got some amazing soil that had probably 5, 10 years of fish poop in it and everything. Yeah. So
Oh,
my plants grew like crazy. So I had flowers in the front part of it that were like right at the street. So it just looked like giant flower gardens. And then from like midway back was all vegetables. So I had 10-foot tall tomato plants that were growing and huge sunflowers. And at I experimented with growing a watermelon plant. That garden kept it getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Holy cow. It was funny. But yeah, so that's where expansion number one. But when I started working down here, I couldn't maintain that garden and then come up here, you know. So I started doing the deck gardens with the grow bags. And then that was the summer before I started growing cannabis. And then so I
okay.
already kind of was used to using grow bags for that. And then I got my tent going. And then so I was like, oh, just use my grow bags in here. I've since switched over to like an earth box type thing, but back then I was still using grow bags. So yeah, I've grown as long as I can remember.
Nice, man. And I love that some people like we just have this connection with plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people like say that the plants make us grow them, like they
Oh
use us,
yeah. Yep.
just like they use the wasp, the same thing. We sit there and we want to come and take care of them. We want to water them every day. We want to feel this connection with this plant. Like for some reason, some people just have that connection. I know I didn't really until like I started getting out into the dirt and touching the soil and all that stuff. And then it just like took
Mm-hmm.
over. This instinct just took over. And I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be out here farming something or
Yep.
growing something. And I just love eating your own product, your own potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers,
Mm-hmm.
all that shit. And smoking your own weed too. It's amazing.
The
But,
satisfaction that comes from that. Yeah, your first harvest. Oh my goodness. You're
oh
like
man,
a kid at Christmas time, like Santa Claus just filled that whole tree with presents when when your grow is finally ready. I mean, I
I
know
know.
everybody's done it. They're putting it in the toaster oven. They're putting a bud in the oven. They're putting a bud because you can't wait. You're just like, dude, 3 weeks, 90 days. I know. I need to like dry this little one to try it.
Yes, you want to do whatever you can let it sit out by a fan so it dries out real quick so you
Yes.
can try to put it in. I know that when I did my first successful grow, when I had a real, which I call successful one, is after it cured right, smoked right, taste right, it was just really
Mhm.
good. I was just doing this one where you look at it, you just can't stop. You're just looking
Oh
at
yeah.
it. Did I do that? I did do
Yeah.
that. God damn, I'm so good, man. How did I do that? Like I'm just sitting there just loving it. Like, oh, and then I'd be passing it to people. Here, man, you try this. Do you taste the excellence that I taste? And everybody be
Yes.
like, yeah, I taste it. And it's like, good, good, because that's my hard work right there. That is
Right.
all my
Yep.
hard work. Because like I heard somebody say that they want everybody to be able to grow weed so that they know, oh yeah, it was Josh from Umbrella Trellis, so that they
Mhm.
know the what it takes to make this weed, what
Right.
it takes to make really good weed. Because you can grow shit weed. Everybody can grow shit weed, and then you
Hmm.
can make edibles or some hash. You can get the material to stay high right there. But if you got good
Yep.
flower, it is very hard to try to pass that good flower off as something else. Like good flour is something that is just crafted. It takes time, it takes love, and you could taste it in the buds. Ah,
Mhm. That
and that's
freshness.
how I live. The freshness. That's one thing that I was talking about. I was thinking about today too when I was getting these questions ready. I was
Mhm.
like, because over where you're at, they just legalized, or when did they legalize recreation?
It's been a couple of years now.
Couple years. Okay. So
Yeah.
we've been over here in Washington, we've been legalized for a couple years also, right? But
Hmm.
the thing is with our pre-rolls are pretty harsh. Okay. They're harsh. I don't even care. I don't care who says what, they're fucking harsh. Now I've been smoking from California to Oregon and Washington lately, and I just went and tried all those joints. Now I gotta say that California had the best fucking joints because the weed was fresh. You can taste
Yeah.
it when you're smoking it. It's fresh weed, so there's not this harshness on your throat, right?
Mhm.
When you're over here in Washington, you're smoking these pre rolls. It's like, yo, it's just hurting my throat. Why is it hurting my
Yeah.
throat? Oh, it's probably because it's been fucking packaged or like it was harvested 6 months ago and it's barely
Yeah.
getting to you in a pre roll right now, And you can
Yeah.
tell over there in California, they're probably in a pre roll for like a week, before they can
Mhm.
get it to you. So it's just something that I hope doesn't happen over there where you guys are at. Okay, I
Yeah.
hope like if you can shit at the Mocana Fest while we're there, I'm gonna be spreading the word. I'm gonna be like, yo,
Right.
man, don't fuck up the pre rolls, man. Let's keep the pre rolls true, man. Because that's one thing I do. I love pre rolls. Now I saw something about oh yeah, we were talking about the intelligence of the plants. Oh, that I saw that on the intelligence of plants. What are your thoughts of that? Do you
Okay. There's an IPM spray. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it releases an enzyme. It's the same one that plants release when a predator is nearby.
oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't,
And
but I'll look it
it's
up and I'll put it
funky
up
as all
here.
get out. It stinks to holy. It's not coastal plant or whatever that one is. I can't say the name of that one either.
I'll
But
I'll find it.
anywho,
I'll find it on the internet and I'll put a picture up here so we can
yeah.
show what
So
we're talking
it's
about.
that particular one. It releases the same, I believe it's an enzyme that the plant puts out that when a predator is nearby. So that's what you would use. It's like a protection. And you
Okay.
spray the same one and it kills off basically everything under the sun. Plants are incredibly intuitive. I mean, as far as like we've already talked about the mycelium. Now with
Yes.
your lights. So those AC Infinity bars that I have, the 16-inch ones, there's two of them on the side and they don't necessarily go because I don't have the really low lying itty bitty little popcorn, so that's pretty much cleaned off the bottom of my plants. But the
Okay.
sides of the buds and like the lower part of the top canopy, because I let those on autos anyway. I let them kind of still develop and grow quite a bit there. But where that light is, those buds are super fat on that side. The other side of the plant where the light isn't right by them, the lower part of the top buds isn't as big. I mean, you can just see how it's just soaking that light up and pulling it in. I need to probably
No.
put another bar over on the other side so they get that 360 light. But it's kind of cool being just being able to monitor it and see how it's like the top buds are on the side of the plant as well. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that one of these days because it's proven. It's proven
Hmm.
fact it works. So I wanted to ask you about the Growmie Talk podcast. Now, how has
Yeah,
that been? You are the co-host now. You said you've been on there for almost a year as the co-host. Congratulations.
yeah, we're getting
Um,
there. Thank you.
yeah, how guests are there any memorable guests that you've had on? How are you liking it? Are you fitting in nice? I know I've been watching a couple episodes and you guys are killing it.
Thank you. So for me, it was I went ahead and accepted it. I knew there were some things that I could bring because there were three of us at one time, and it for whatever reason parted ways with the third one. And he was there with Green Year before me. And so he just had kind of too much going on life wise to keep up with it, you know, with home life and everything that was going on. So we parted ways there. And so anywho, when I first came on, I thought I was just kind of coming on as support. I wasn't necessarily planning on being the two of us, just like that. So, but what I was bringing to it was the organizational, the backside of it, and two, like my strong graphics background, marketing, and all that, and kind of just helping the production of a show and like all the things Grow Me Talk related that weren't necessarily the podcast itself. It's like you may have to outsource, if you need logos or artwork or flyers and all of
Yeah.
that. Well, I was just bringing that to the table. I've been doing it for years. And then I thought it would be good for me to just get out of my shell, to force myself to go live and to be in front of a camera because, oh my God, you have no idea how shy I am. So very shy. And so I was like, you know what? This is probably something I need to do is just, because it's like it's a calling. I think God or the universe or however you look at it puts people in your path for a reason. And like
Yeah.
doors open are in front of you and they're knocking. You just have to open the door and walk through it. Have the courage to say, I wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't meant for me. This challenge wouldn't be here if I wasn't meant to accept it and run with it and see what it's bringing to me. So that's kind of my thought on why I went ahead and said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll help you guys. And then it kind of grew and I was like, oh boy. And the getaway actually that kind of came into play it would have been the end of August, beginning of September is when I
Yeah, because
toyed with
you saw me a
getaway.
message. Yeah, you shot
Yeah.
me a message around then when you were thinking of like in the very beginning of it. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I was like, because that was before MJ BizCon, I think, that you sent me that
It
message.
was.
So I
Yeah.
wasn't, yeah, it was okay. So I wasn't even totally ready. Like I was kind of like thrown off because I haven't been to a convention yet at that time,
Yeah.
and so I didn't know that this was actually like something that fucking people do. It's so cool
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get together
Yep.
and go fucking talk about weed and smoke some weed and shit. So after MJ
Mm-hmm.
BizCon, I was like, oh, Mo's deaf. If she's still on for that, I'm fucking showing up, man. So
Yeah.
yes, that's it's for those who don't know, Mo CannaConvos is coming up June
Mm-hmm.
15th, June
14th.
15th, 14th. Okay, that's gonna be the
14th. Yep.
Saturday. Make sure to
Yeah.
be there if you guys want to be. This is in Missouri, Lake Ozark. All right,
Mm-hmm.
we are going
Yep.
to be there. It's a free event. Just show up. Let's get blazed. We're gonna be doing CannaConvos live. We'll probably have Vixn there to be on the support podcast, the panel, as
Right.
I've been trying to put together a bunch of people who are going to be there. El Connoisseur is going to be there. Chris for Crop Culture. 420 Thing Grows. Grow Me
Yep.
Talk. I mean, I'm sorry. Green Year is going to be there. I'll be there.
Yep.
Defiant will be there.
Crimson, Defiant.
Kansas.
Yep.
Fucking just, oh my God, so many Gromies, yo. You guys got to
Yeah.
come. If you don't come, at least support from the far. You can just
Mm-hmm.
repost and do some stuff like that. Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good show. I wanted to thank you too for sending me the invite because I was like one of the first ones, and I was like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
damn, am I even like big enough for that? Like,
Of course. So
yeah,
I was just kind of reached out to everybody that I've been personally following and that have supported me as well. And I was just like, hey, you guys, this is what I'm getting ready to put together here. And it was really like MJ BizCon, all those are really cool. But the thing is, by the time you're done with the business side of it, by the end of the night, most people talk about they were just like exhausted and there's like parties afterwards. I was like, well, what if we do something on the opposite of that spectrum? Instead of making it all business, we just get everybody here to vacation together. This is like a vacation Disneyland here anyway. It's huge tourist area, but it's extremely economical at the same time. You can do so much that costs a couple pennies or not at all. And, it's free events and stuff. So like the car show and like, cruising and going out into like the parks, and there's so much going on.
The car
And so I was like,
show,
we
that's
get
what I'm
everybody,
excited
yeah.
for. The
And it's on
car
the
show.
the historic Bagnell Dam Strip, so it's really cool. And then, like I said, the state park and all of that. And then we've got a few other things that's mixed into it. There's float trips, and there's Mind Fuel is going to do smoga, which is smoking and yoga early in the morning. So I'll get all you guys out there, get everybody like a little good start before the festival kicks off that day. So it's a lot of fun. Then I've got some treats worked in it for you guys. So everybody that comes, I just need to know like when you're going to get here, and if you're for sure coming. I'm going to have a form set up real quick that you guys can just fill out online and send back to me. That way I know who's coming and who to plan for, because I'll have badges for everybody, and whatnot, shirts available and things like that, just to kind of take care of it, and so that you guys are properly recognized while you're here. Because we do have the festival going on at the same time. The Growmie Talk Getaway just starts Thursday and ends Monday. The festival is Saturday, right in the middle of it. So it should be a lot of fun.
And the festival is where all the shows are going to be going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that'll be on Saturday. So they're actually just incorporating all of you guys live at the festival. So you guys are stars. You're going to be treated as such.
Good, man. We're coming in. Hey, yo, we're making this to like a real good event. We're just gonna be blowing this out, and hopefully next year it'll be even more Growmies. After they see us being there having a good time, we'll be able to get all the other big time Growmies on, Mr. Grow, Pigeons, fucking Rob, get those guys over there. Vixn Grows, probably all of them. High Gain, everybody. Coda.
Yeah.
We can get everybody.
There's still time. There's still plenty of time for everybody to get here. So
yeah, and I've been telling a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, they can't." But I'm like, "All right, don't trip. You see how good it goes with us being there, right? And then we'll do this and we'll keep it going, man. Make it a annual thing."
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about like Mind Fuel. Mind Fuel's birthday is that now? Could you explain to everybody out there, including myself, because I don't know who is Mind Fuel or what is Mind Fuel?
They're a local cannabis company here, group, and they started as home growers, and they came together when legalization hit, and kind of joined together, and then formed Mind Fuel. Then they've been working kind of low key, and they were trying not to. I had to stay zipped on it because until something's solidified, you don't want to jinx it, or you don't want to put it out there like that so it's actually happened. But they were putting together an event, or like a actual private event center here with like a consumption lounge basically, and with a lot of there's different rooms, and it's quite a big place, but it's actually pretty awesome. So they're having their soft opening May 1st, and then they're going to have their grand opening when you guys are down here, so we'll all be part of that.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice. There's gonna be some definite perks.
I love it. I'm stupid down, man. I love consumption lounges are just something that we here in Washington, we're barely even starting to pass a bill to be able to have that. Like in California, they have them, and California was my first one that I went to earlier this year, and it was amazing, man. They had like TV, like just all
pool
ashtrays,
tables and everything.
pool table. Ah, man, so much cool stuff. It's just like, damn, that's the way it should be. It should be to where we can sit back and blaze, and it should be the opposite of like a bar, but no alcohol. Yeah, you're drinking bar, but smoking. Shit, I mean, and yeah, we should make it to where it's as normal as drinking, just less consequences. I feel as drinking. Still, we got to worried about like the jobs and everything, federal jobs and all that kind of shit. But anyways, that's another subject for another day.
Yeah, that's like a whole other show.
Man. We can bitch about that shit for hours. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what is your thoughts? We're at the 50-minute mark also, so we're gonna kind of wrap this up, but I still have a couple more questions. I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts of the cannabis industry's future? As in, like, because over there in Missouri, it feels like it's a new option for revenue. It's new, and I wish that you guys, well, I just want to try to drop a little knowledge and be like, don't make the mistakes that we did over here, like in Washington, okay? Like the
Yeah.
pre-roll mistake, and shit like that. And, we're starting to fix it up a little bit, but I just see a bright future for you guys still. So where do you think it's going to go?
So that's kind of like a double-edged sword, because we're talking about where is the future of it nationally, and then where is the future of it here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri is full support of it. Like St. Louis and I imagine KC too, but I know they have consumption lounges and restaurants in KC that's actually in St. Louis, that, as far as like going there and being able to enjoy infused foods and smoking and at the bars and whatnot. So that's what we're just starting to get here at the lake, with like Minefields Event Center. And then if you personally, I think it's going to just keep booming. It's been a positive. It's pretty embraced. People's minds are pretty open to it. And it actually kind of, if I go back to what you were talking about with plants for 1 second, because one thing I thought of, I didn't say, when growing, like I used to hate the smell of, like, you could smell it on somebody, on like their clothes or the car, like that. So you knew it from smoking, but it had that funky stank. You know what I'm saying? Like just, it like would smell, I
The
don't know how to
outside
explain.
smell? Is that what you
Yeah,
said? Like
it didn't,
that
like,
out?
I'm just somebody that had been smoking, like walk up in a
Oh.
gas station, it's like, okay, homie, yeah, you definitely been smoking that skunk. And but once you start, and I didn't differentiate back then. Once you start growing and you brush that stem for the first time and you smell those terps on your fingers, and you're just like, that actually smells amazing. And you're like, it doesn't stink. It smells fresh and alive, and you can smell all the different terpenes and the scents that are developing, and you're just like, this is amazing. And then through the rest of the grow process, you're constantly, whenever you touch something or brush it, and like the plants, and you're just like, this smells so just alive and beautiful, like medicinal. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't smell like a bag of ditchweed that somebody had that just smelled horrible, and just like that connotation that's with it. No, this was just like when you open your tent and you're just like, wow, this smells
Yeah.
so amazing. But yeah, that first time you get that scent on your hand, you're just like, you almost can't stop smelling it, because you're just like, this is so beautiful.
So you
I
go
didn't want
around
to
all
say that
day.
earlier. Yeah,
You're
and you're just
smelling it
like,
all day, and
you're
people are
like,
like,
oh, it's on me. Yeah.
people are like, what are they smelling? And you wouldn't
It's
even
like
know, bro.
plant. It's
I'm
literally,
smelling
it's
success.
medicine. If you had any idea how amazing that smell is, it's so different. But so yeah, back to the
Yes, it's
future of
beautiful. It's
cannabis. I
like,
think it's just going to keep blooming here and growing. What I'm curious, because we have no control over it nationally, is how they're going to go with the scheduling. I think that will play a part
yes.
in it. It's just, is it going to be descheduled or is it going to be Schedule 3? That's probably the main thing. Schedule 3, then you're looking at big pharma. Descheduled, that's a big, huge green light. So I think that's the other side of the coin, is where it's going to eventually go.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't even know if the descheduling, which they should just legalize. Just stop with the bullshit, legalize
Mm-hmm.
it, stop fucking caring, let everybody be able to grow at home, because it's not going to be like flooding the market and everything, because there are going to be a lot of people who find out that it's hard and are not going to want to do it. They're going to
Yeah.
want to pay other people to do it or whatever the
And the
fuck. And
expense
so there
behind
could
it,
be
or they may not have the work schedule.
the work
You
schedule.
know?
Yeah, there could be so many variables. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many variables in just growing that they're not even taking into account the other shit of people not being able to do it. But I don't know, man. I feel like baby steps or something. At least we're
Yeah.
moving in the right direction to where the stigma is falling away. Is kind of is not as strong as it used to be, because
Mm-hmm.
people, they found out you smoked weed, they would just look at you up and down. I still to this day,
Oh, for
I
sure.
wear my weed hat, and I still to this day get looks up and down and shit, like, oh god, I didn't smoke weed. And it's like, really? Oh yeah, look at me like that, but I bet you'd be drunk as shit at your fucking house doing some dumb shit, all stupid drunk. But me, I can't smoke a little weed. Come on, man, better calm it down. But anyways, I forgot
Yeah,
where we
because
was
you
going
don't.
with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
say
know
you
what I
don't
mean.
get liquid courage with weed. You know that it's different. It might release your, it might let your anxiety go a little bit. It might make you a little more chill. It might make you a little more, depending on which strain it was. It could make you a little sleepy. It might make you energetic. But you don't get that stupidity that you get with alcohol. You don't get blackout drunk. You don't get. There's so many things that is the opposite, literally, between
Yeah.
smoking and drinking.
Yes, and when it's that glaze over, the thing that I see, because I don't mind people drinking, like you can drink and shit like that, but it's when you start to get too buzzed and that glaze over in the eye like comes over, and
Yeah.
you could see it for some people. You could see like, oh my god, it's gonna change their personality. This is where the personality changes, and that is where I'm not cool with. I'm like, okay, I gotta
Yeah.
go. I'm out of here, fucking, because I don't deal with that. I know it. I was an alcoholic for 16 years straight, so
Yeah.
I was a real alcoholic. Could not get up without drinking. You know, I was a functioning alcoholic. So
Yeah.
I know about it. I just I have my
I was
demons
on
with
the other
alcohol.
side of that as the girlfriend of somebody who was an alcoholic
Oh man, I'm
and
sorry.
blackout drunk. Yeah.
I put my wife through so much shit. It's amazing that she's still with me, but you know, it goes to show. I feel like she knew this side of me. She knew this side of me
Yeah.
was in there, you know, and
Yeah.
she was
Yep.
just like,
Absolutely.
he's in there. I can get him out. And sure enough, she stuck
Yeah.
with me long enough to see us over.
As a good woman. Yep.
Oh, good
Absolutely.
for her. No, I'll just kidding.
Good girl. Yeah. No, just that she believed in you and stuck with you
Yeah,
through it and yeah, saw
yeah,
through that side of it.
yeah. And I'll always be in debt for her forever because it's like you're so strong. The way you could put up with that much like shit, it's strong women can put up with a
Yeah.
man that can do that shit. Like anyways, yeah. So thank you very much for being a woman, strong woman,
Yeah.
all women out there. Thank you for help rule the world.
Yeah.
So
I think
one
a
of the
lot of
things,
that just comes down to the guy's personality too, like your traits. Like
yeah,
some people are just they're not good people to begin with, and if you got somebody who's a good person but they're just struggling with something, that's wholly different. That it's like you
yeah,
said, personality comes out of different types of people, different things come out of them. So yeah,
yes, yeah, and some people on the flip side, you can't give up on some people, man. Some people, as soon as they
yeah,
get over that hump of their alcohol, boom, they never look back. You know, and
yeah,
it takes a lot. I know for anybody out there, if you're struggling with alcohol, I know how hard it is. Okay, I know it could be hard, but you can do it. Okay, you can do
yeah.
it. Anybody out there, your friends, your families who are struggling, don't give up on them because they can do it too. And if they just might surprise you, man. Just might surprise the shit out of you. And that's the best thing in
Yeah,
the world is when you see somebody that you would give up on and they're actually thriving, like
yeah.
surviving as a non-alcoholic. Like I
Just had
love
to
it.
put that demon to rest. Yeah,
Yes,
literally.
and
Yeah,
I love to see
yeah.
it. I'm over here like, yes, keep it going. Like you're fucking killing it. I love to be that person to encourage the next
Yes.
recovering alcoholic to just keep going, man, because you can
If you
do
could
it.
just wean them off and wean them on and get them onto, and just bring them. I mean, yeah, yes, it is exchanging one for the other, swapping. But at the same time,
Yeah,
it is a medicine compared to, I don't know how to
a
put it.
depressant.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah,
But
because it's
then, like,
medicine versus
even
depression.
Elle celebrates it. So, he's had quite a few posts on there where, because he's had how many days sober now. And so it's like,
L?
yeah, Elle.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. L's been sober for
Yeah.
like a year. Year. He had I on his episode I put his transformation picture of where he was and how he
Nice.
looked now, and it's just great, man. I love that
Yeah,
guy,
that's
dude.
awesome. Yeah,
I'm so
I
fucking
love it.
proud of him, man. I love it. All alcoholics out there, recovering alcoholics and alcoholics, period. If you want to get over it,
Yeah,
you can do it, guys. You can do it. I have faith in you.
absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you so much for coming on, Vixen.
Well,
Kelly,
thank
you
you.
absolutely killed it. It's already been an hour. You did it fucking easily, effortlessly.
Yay.
So thank you. Fucking, how do you feel? You feel better getting it out?
Yeah, I let it all out. And just yeah, that was like the conversation was just kind of all over the place, but that's the
Yeah,
best kind. So
that's the
I'm
best kind,
fine.
man, where you can go there and you're just like, just the homies. Like I always say, if you want to come on the show, just think of it as Growmie sitting around just talking weed, man. That's all
Yeah.
we're doing. And it comes
Big
way more
kudos to
easy.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You make it easy. So yeah, that was
That's
awesome.
what I try to do, man. I try to be here to make it easy and have everybody just come on the show and just make some good content, right? But like I said, I want everybody out there, please go check out Vixn. I'm going to be putting in all her tags. Where can everybody find you?
So I just at Vixn Flower on Instagram. I do have Kelly Artist on Facebook, but I don't do much with it. I'm hardly ever on Facebook. Vixn Creative is on there, but I haven't updated it in how long. I was more of an Instagram person.
Yeah, me too.
Being an artist, I think it lended to posting photos, you know what I mean? So you would share your art and share your work and awards and all that type of stuff. So I was just a little heavier on Instagram, but I probably do need to use Facebook more as a backup. But there's an online portfolio in my account that's got probably hundreds of pictures on there. I haven't updated it in a while, but you can see some of my old work in there.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'll be putting the links to all her stuff in the description of the video.
Sure.
And yes, if everybody be ready for CannaConvos. You guys are gonna want to come check it out. Vixn has put together a very good itinerary, all this stuff. Like she's killing it on there. So it's gonna be a good time, man. Make sure to tap in for that. And make sure to tap in for the next episode of CannaConvos. As for me, don't forget to go check out Seasman.com, promo code or code SLY. Yes. Get yourselves a couple bucks off at checkout. Get some of those badass genetics we be growing. You already know peyote Skittles is looking beautiful. Highly suggest everybody go get some of those genetics. So, Vixn, once again, thank you so much for coming on. I will definitely have you back on for part 2 one of these days. Huh?
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.